What knowledge might save your life one day? Before we begin, do us a favor by clicking that like button, and subscribe to our channel for more top Reddit stories every day. Don't ever stop performing CPR on a person until the EMTs take their body away. CPR doesn't wake up a person, it's to force blood to their brain to prevent brain death so that the EMTs can revive that person, and find a CPR buddy to switch with regularly. Even if they don't know CPR, coach them through it, but if at all possible don't do it alone. Why? Because it is super taxing and your arms will get tired and hurt really fast. And as said, you can't stop. To add to this, you need to use a lot of force. You will probably break their ribs. Don't stop. Living is more important than one or more broken ribs. If someone threatens you with a gun or something and they want to move you to another location, your chance of dying goes up considerably if you agree to relocate. My father was an assistant DA who worked with homicide. He gave me this advice over and over. Years later, someone climbed in my car and threatens me with a gun. And I said no. Took the keys out and threw them. It wasn't a conscious decision. My dad had just hammered his advice in so hard that it switched on. The guy gets out without saying a word and runs. Edit. Let's be clear. What I did was very stupid. While you should never allow yourself to be relocated, aggravating an armed assailant rarely goes well. I was very lucky he didn't kill me. Criminals who commit reckless crimes like this are rarely rational, and many end up in jail over shooting someone over nothing. They don't always act in their own self-interests. Drugs are also often involved. After telling my dad what happened, he was angrier than I've ever seen him. Never agree to be taken to another location, and never try to agitate your attacker. Give him your wallet and keys, and refuse to go along. Polar bears have insane ADHD. If one is chasing you, intermittently drop clothing items like a hat or gloves. It will stop to sniff them. Normal prey animals don't shed whole pieces of themselves. The bear will be perplexed. Saw on Reddit somewhere else. If you sweat you die, because the sweat will freeze in your clothing, which will induce hypothermia much faster. And since you can't get them dry, you're basically fucked. I mean, it's either you last naked and exposed and get hypothermia, or the iced clothes rapidly kill you. Get naked or die. Okay, got it. Firefighter training. If there is a fire, crawl out of the building. Do not stand up to run. 1 or 2 breaths of smoke are enough to do major damage and require hospitalization, if you get out at all. It may be warm where you are crawling, but standing up can cook your skin and your lungs. The smoke at eye level can be more than 600 degrees Celsius, 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. If you can't see and don't know the room layout, crawl with your feet, legs in front of you, sliding on your ass. Do not crawl face first, or you may take a dive down a staircase in the confusion. This reminds me, if you're caught in a river, you may be tempted to doggy paddle to save energy. But you want to turn your body as best you can to float on your back, so your feet are in the direction of the current. Your feet will take the impact of any submerged rocks, etc., and you can push away from them rather than getting a head or chest injury. This is advisable usually only for whitewater scenarios. A side stroke is usually the most energy efficient method of swimming for a rescue if there's no danger of underwater hazards. If you're being pulled out to sea by a current, swim parallel to the shore while letting yourself be carried out until you're out of its grip, rather than waste your energy fighting against it. Also, thanks to a current UK PSA, don't thrash in cold water as your gasping reflex will drown you. Instead, attempt to float until the reflex passes, then you can address the situation. Holy moly, that reflex. Put a paddling pool out last week to deal with our week of summer. Jesus H, getting in and just trying to breathe normally for the first 2 minutes was a chore. To think people jump into rivers because they're hot, perhaps thinking it's going to be bath temperature, or having never experienced the body's reaction to plummeting into ice cold water, but goddamn people, it's not the one. If a canker sore in your mouth or on your tongue isn't healing in about 2 weeks, it might not be a canker sore. I'm going into surgery today, and they will likely remove 100% of my oral cancer, because of early detection. Good luck today. Sorry for being dumb, but what's a canker sore? Mouth ulcer. If you're unsure about the movement of a tornado, put a straight object such as a tree or a street light in between you and the tornado. It'll make it way easier to see which way the tornado is moving. If the tornado appears to not be moving, it's coming right at you. Edit. Usually the only reference you will have is the width. If it doesn't appear to be moving but is getting wider, it's coming towards you, at which point you want to move perpendicular to its movement. Thank you /start_ button for clearing that up. In my experience, the easiest way to check if the tornado is getting wider is using an object such as a light post, but if you can eyeball it, more power to you. This is the stuff that makes the hairs in the back of my neck stand up. I have never seen a tornado, but Jesus fuck, the thought of one coming straight at me is just so awesome and creepy. I live in a country that doesn't get them, but I feel exactly the same way from reading that. They sound completely horrifying. I've been ambushed by a very bad storm while skiing and had to face the prospect of digging in for the night. Thank you French Mountain Rescue, you are genuinely fucking hardcore. But at least if that happens, you're up a mountain and some sort of weird shit is sort of to be expected. Some howling demon thing appearing out of the clear sky is a very long way outside of my experience. Know how to spot a stroke. An easy way to remember is the acronym FAST. Face. Is one side of your face droopy? Can you fully smile? Arms. Can you hold your arms out straight? Speech. Are you unintentionally slurring your words? Time. Call an ambulance right away. Time is of the essence. Time should also be note the time the symptoms came on, as there are some medications that can help but only in a specific window. So note the time and tell the EMTs when they arrive. If someone gets stabbed, do not take the knife out if possible. If it stays in, it acts as a plug to the hole and will reduce blood loss. Apply pressure around the wound as best as you can and call an ambulance. What won't kill you in Australia? The wildlife. What will kill you? Getting lost in the outback. If you're lost and out of fuel, stay with your vehicle. Move as little as possible during the day and stay in the shade. Conserve water. Rip off wing mirrors to shine at any search planes. You can drink your urine approx 1 to 3 times before your kidneys start to pack it in. This is absolute last resort. To be fair, the wildlife can also kill you. Plot twist: lost in the Australian outback and a roo enters the passenger seat, points a gun at your head, and tells you to relocate. Don't drive behind a truck with an open back that is carrying materials, e.g. metal rods, logs, bricks etc. They can come loose and fly back at great speed, impaling the driver or inhabitant of the vehicle behind the truck. Edit. Since many are asking for a link to that brick video, here it is. No blood or gore, but it is disturbing to watch nonetheless. Skip to 145. The old Final Destination life tip. Because of this, I won't do that. If you're being followed, quickly try and hug someone nearby and whisper in their ear the situation quickly. Most people will just pretend to know you to keep you safe. This is a good idea, unless they're accomplices, in which case, good luck. Edit. My first silver. Thank you anonymous stranger. I'm being followed. I know. If you're caught in an avalanche and buried under snow, spit to see in which direction you need to dig so you don't go the wrong way. This is not really a good tip. If you are buried in an avalanche, the snow will compact so much that you won't be able to move once it stops avalanching. What you want to do, when you feel it slow down, is hold your arms before your face to create a pocket of air to breathe. So when the avalanche stops, and if you're not dead, you can still breathe. Edit. For more information, the problem with the spit idea is that it's intended to tell you which direction to dig, but you won't be digging, unless you get lucky and the avalanche pushes you up to the surface. There can be tons of snow compacted above you, and once it stops moving, you won't be moving. So, avalanche tips: never outrun it. Even a wet snow avalanche, which are slower, move pretty damned fast, 30 miles per hour, run, or ski, perpendicular to the avalanche, i.e. across the avalanche, to try to get out of the avalanche zone. If you are caught in one, try to swim or thrash to stay afloat / as high up as possible. Once the movement slows down and you're still underneath, try to form a bubble around your face, which gives you more breathing space. Then, stay calm. Edit, some clarity. Lock all your doors when you're in the house. No neighborhood is 100% safe. No kidding. I work a night shift and was up at 3 AM watching TV. So all the lights in the living room were on. This is like a beacon for people looking to rob houses as they think the owners left the lights on to go on vacation. Had some guy knock on my front door to see if anyone was home before he busted in. I then heard the handle jiggle. Needless to say, he was quite surprised when I responded along with 3 Great Danes. More than he bargained for, and he tried to play it off as he needed a ride into town. I live in a rural area and there isn't a neighbor within a quarter mile of me, let alone any sort of business. Wife called the cops but he disappeared before they got there. Funny story. Last year my parents went on vacation. I went to their house to mow the lawn or something about 4 days into their trip. I pull up and the front door is wide open. Just the screen door was closed. I thought the house had been broken into. Turned out my dad forgot to shut the door. Best security tactic I've ever seen. Swimming. No, seriously, if you live in a country with lots of rivers, lakes and bridges, swimming is rather important. Or even if you're in a completely landlocked area, it's still a great life skill to have in case you go to a pool or beach anywhere. Water can look both shallow and calm while being exactly none of those things. Thank you for watching this fantastic story. Please tap one of the 4 videos on the screen for another amazing top Reddit stories.